Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author in one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so it is a very special episode. I don't know if you've been following this series now or if this is your first time tuning in, but this is a very special series that myself and Qamar Zaman are putting together where we're teaching business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, and experts really what it takes to take their marketing to the next level. If you're tuning into this series, things that you can expect, high-level things like what to do with your media. You can expect some of the nuanced things like SEO, where Qamar, he's the expert there. I leave that to him, as I always tell him. I'm not going to talk about things I don't know. But that being said, hey, Qamar, just first off, welcome back to the show, man. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
So, Qamar, today's topic, so this is a big one, and I may sound biased because obviously I'm a host of a show and you're a host, and we work in the media, but I don't think that we look at this topic often enough, and I don't think we always look at this side of the coin, so to speak. So normally when we think media, we think, obviously the power for promotion. Obviously we can think of the not so good side of media, like the clickbait stuff and the propaganda, all that stuff. So, and that's what our subject is today. So we'll talk about the importance of media in doing good. So essentially, how do you do something over and above just your day-to-day business using media, and maybe some of the reasons why you can do it or should do it. So today we're going to do a case. We're going to use a bit of a case study, I should say, on something that Qamar and myself are actually working on right now. By the way, Qamar is spearheading this. This is his initiative, and Mission Matters, we just decided, really, we just fell in love with the project, and we're like, we want to help. We want to contribute. So Qamar, maybe let's just to get us started with this case study of sorts. Tell us a little bit more about the project.
Absolutely, love to. So about a week ago, I work mostly online and in Skype, so I got an alert from one of my clients who's based in India, and he requested that is there a way that he can get some charity going and so he can raise some funds for people that have fungus, and his uncle was one of them. The shots to get that treated is like $15 a shot, which is quite a bit of money in India. So what can I do? And I said, why don't we set up a GoFundMe page? And he says, well, GoFundMe is not available. And I said, so let me think about it. So as I was thinking, then I got busy in a day. And then what I did was I thought, well, and I'm a very spontaneous person, Adam, as you probably know. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I have these 5 people on my phone, so I'm going to call them. And these are my favorite 5, you being one of them. So I called all my favorite 5 people, and I said, hey, we are rolling out a India initiative, and we want to raise some funds so we can help somebody in India, or help as many people as we can. So I raised, in less than 1 hour, $5,000, which is not too shabby, but we want to do bigger. So, and that's what we call outreach, right? Where we pick up the phone, we call somebody. And now when we did that, incidentally, when I called the 5th person, who is one of my clients as well as a great friend like you, Adam, when I talked to him and I said, and he calls me Tiger and says, Tiger, what you want now? And I said, I want $1,000 from you, but maybe more. And he says, you know what? What you're doing is actually being done as we speak by one of his clients and his good friend. His name is Sam. And Sam is coming to LA, and he's actually on board right now in the plane coming to LA as we speak. And on Tuesday, which is next week, he is flying a plane. Sam is from aviation, so his background is aviation. Sam is flying a plane from LAX to India, and why don't you talk to him? So to summarize the story, I said, okay, text me. So we did a group chat. I talked to Sam last night, and as we speak, Sam and I are putting to this initiative. GoFundMe page has already been created. And the next big thing is that we are flying that plane from LAX and, spending whatever it takes and taking the ventilators, all the necessary stuff that is required to help as much as we can to India. So this is just a matter of last 24 hours, Adam, because if you remember, I called you last night.
Man, that is that's quite a story. And so if we're thinking about the logic of this, so let's see how this story unfolds and how it builds. And for those that are listening to this, we normally do a couple episodes of these a month, so we'll get some closure and we'll close this story, but we won't get it all today because it's unfolding as we're saying it. Yep. So you started with pretty straightforward, right? Grassroots effort. So whatever it is, dollar amount doesn't matter. It could have been $1. Obviously, we're happy that your five had a little bit of money to contribute, so we're happy about that. But if you're listening to this and you're like, if I call one of my buddies and ask them for $1,000, they're gonna laugh at me. Like, that's fine. Like, you call and you ask for $10, doesn't matter. But the point is, number one, you took action. You started. You had a reason to do something. You took action and you went forward. So now you saw this multiplier effect, right, of what happened. And what happened is it multiplied and you got more ideas, like more talent, more things came to the table. So now you have this multiplier effect. So now what you're doing, and this kind of circles back into the marketing side of this show and what we do overall, is you're saying, well, hey, this idea had legs. Like, obviously it's to do good, and people want to do good, and they want to contribute, and so it has legs. So now, how do you really? And so now you did the GoFundMe page because you're like, you need a vehicle, right? You need something easy and trusted for people to actually contribute and to pay. So now you took care of kind of some of the logistics there. So like, now how does media tie into this piece, and like, how does this really like amplify things? Like, what's your plan going forward?
Correct. So I'm actually breaking it down into small chunks. So the first thing, as you said, outreach, grassroots level. So I got the 5 people committed because my second step was that when I have the GoFundMe page, I just don't want a GoFundMe page with some $0. I want some money to go in. So that's the commitment from my corporate sponsors. So now the GoFundMe page is ready. We have funded about $1,000 so far. Another 5-6K is going to be funded in the next few hours, right? Once that is done, the next step is that we are building what we called a skyscraper page in our website, which is called Story. So under the Story, there's going to be a page where we will have, my developers are working right now as we speak, and will be ready tomorrow. In that page, we will have the mission of what we are doing, what is the purpose of this cause, who is driving fuel to that, and that is our corporate sponsors, KISS PR, some of you guys. And then the next thing is, now we have a writer, Tara. Tara is actually writing a press release as we speak, and that's going to be ready by 4 o'clock, and this is going to be fired up with all the engines, and this is going to be published. Once that is done and is going to be in the big wire services, we also talked to Fortune India. We're going to have an article published in the next week. So all the machine is loaded, and the media initiative has been programmed in less than a few hours.
And so, and obviously on our end, so at Mission Matters, we're going to put out this podcast episode. We're going to put out our, an episode. We'll get those on our channels. But obviously, like, this is our business, Qamar. Like, we're in the media business, so not everybody is going to pick up the phone and call me and be like, "Hey, Adam, like, dude." And by the way, if you're listening to this, don't pick up the phone and call me asking for money. but that being said, Qamar and I have that relationship, so he's able to do that. But that being said, like, how does, like, we're industry insiders, like, how does the everyday, small business owner that isn't necessarily as connected, like, how do they do that?
So I always believe that even when you are starting and you are a small business owner, you don't have the expertise of the media, you have some kind of a resource, whether it's you have at least 5 friends, you reach out to them on a very grassroots level, and then just use your basic Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have available, at instant messenger, Skype, iPhone chat, whatever you have, just reach out. If you have the purpose, if you are driven by a purpose and you're genuine about the purpose, then it's not necessary that you must write a press release and publish it. That's obviously something easier for us to do because this has become our second nature for us. But just pick up the phone and call those 5 people or chat them and then say, "Hey, I've just put a post on Facebook. Go like it and start making it viral." Not everybody has access to press releases, but everybody has friends, I hope, and if you don't, then you need to change your life. So definitely, those are basic things that you can do. And for a small business, like last year, March 2020, when COVID happened, I was not ready for this thing to happen. Nobody was. I did the same thing. I called the 5 people. We created an initiative, and we helped 30,000 businesses. We gave them free press releases, and people found it. People were struggling. They were searching for what can they do. They were searching on Google free something, so they can participate. And people came in and they funded us. Some gave $5, some gave $500, and we created a cause, and we helped put food on a lot of people's tables.
Man, that's awesome. I love that, and I just think it's a big deal. It's a great initiative, and these tools, like when you're talking about like this, the way I like to look at it is, and people use this word differently, but platform. The thing that with platforms, and I think where people misunderstand it is that, different size platform can be, you have a Facebook account. It could even be your personal one. It doesn't mean it has to be something fancy or anything else. A platform just means, in my definition, it's a way to talk to multiple people. That's really it. It's in there, and where people can come to your whatever it is, wherever the content is housed or held or whatever you want to say, they can come and see what you're about, what your content's about. And that could be a personal page. That could be anything. You might have a website. That's a type of platform if you're commuting and giving information and giving value from it. You might do a Facebook Live. You might have a podcast. And if you don't have one, we launch podcasts here all day long. That's my shameless plug in this one. But so we definitely love to help business owners do that. But like a podcast is a platform. So the idea is that you have to start somewhere, and then that's where it grows. So like when we started over here, like our platform, the original one was all I had, and this is before a name, a website, anything else. All I had was my phone. I had some Apple headphones, and I don't use them anymore, but I had a hosting site that lets you host for free. I've since paid for my hosting just because I figured out like you need to pay for your hosting for your podcast. You just get better services. That's a little insider tip there. So you definitely want to pay for your hosting. Don't go for anything that's free. There's always a cost if it's free on the back end, put it that way. But little tip there, little nugget, but that's all I had. And we recorded like 300 plus episodes and made a platform out of like zero spend, Qamar. That was our story. So like when they say they want to do good or they want to create something, they want to go out and do stuff, like they can just go do it, has been my experience. What's your experience with that?
It's just the way you said it. So I recall when you had started your podcast, I had received an email from somebody, "Hey, meet Adam. He's doing it. You should also do it." So I booked it. And then you called me, we became friends, and I said, "Adam, can you tell me what platform can I use?" And you said, this free platform, just use it. You didn't hide or do anything and say, hey, you have to go and buy this. He says, and your words were, I like to do this from a hotel or wherever I am. I just use my Apple, headsets, and I just do it.
Man, I forgot we met on the podcast. I totally forgot that. It's been years now.
Right.
That's crazy. And for everybody that's listening, so we've published books together. We've done a lot of work together. It all met like so. Oh, well, you said earlier, if somebody don't have friends, get friends. Well, get a podcast, and you apparently make friends. I can't believe it. I forgot that's how we met. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that was that. But like in a real sense, my wife, she's a CPA, and she is not tech savvy the way I am, but she has friends on Facebook, and she gets these, like she will post, like if I give her a link and says, hey babe, can you share this with some of your friends, I'll get like 10 people donating. So it's kind of like Facebook is perfect. It's a community, and if you're on these free platforms and you have friends or their friends, somebody will share it. If you have a real purpose, all you have to do is just let it out from you. Okay. I think most businesses overthink it. They'll say, well, I'll do it when I will have a podcast mic. You don't need a mic. You just need your iPhone and your headset. That's what I'm using right now. So, and I'm doing a podcast. You have now a very sophisticated system. I'm still running on the basic, 3.0. So that's all you need, to be honest.
So I like to give somebody some tools here, and so we've talked about obviously the press side of things. We've talked about use Facebook. We've talked about a couple other things. I guess one tool we haven't talked about on the show previously, I don't believe, and it's kind of new, but more and more people are hearing about it, is Clubhouse. So we've done quite a few things on Clubhouse at Mission Matters. We actually started a Mission Matters club where every week we host different talks around like different subjects, everything from like mentorship to what did you learn, or like these type of things. So a lot of different things, diversity, inclusion topics. I mean, a lot of different things that we've covered at this point. So what's been your experience with Clubhouse as a platform, Qamar?
Clubhouse is good. It's obviously for people that are a bit techy. They know a little bit about it, but just downloading a Clubhouse app, joining the communication or a community so you can, get your feedback vet. As simple as that. It's very simple. You just join, the Mission Matters community. You join some of the communities that you are passionate about, and listen and see what people are talking, and that's how you will make friends. Because when you join, you can add other people. When you start adding people, like-minded people, it's kind of like a dating Minder, which I never used, but that's how they work. If you want to find a girlfriend, that's what you're going to do. So this is a business relationship. Obviously, for business, you can join a free LinkedIn account, connect with few people. I'm sure you will find some old friends you will find there. You will connect to Clubhouse. You will find some people there. I'm not a big fan of Twitter, but if you are, then join Twitter. If you're more tech savvy, go create content on YouTube, again, free. If you wanted to send out a story about your business, go to story.kisspr, which is our platform. It starts for free. Then when you want big publicity, you join our effort, come on a podcast and you get more mileage. But there are a lot of places these days. And one thing that I have learned from big marketer, that if you know somebody like Adam, and Adam has a brand halo, because now everybody knows Adam, right? So align yourself with an Adam, whoever that is in your community. So borrow a little bit of their brand halo, and they will, that will shine on you, and then you talk about your subject matter, and then people will start to follow you. Very simple, really very, very simple.
Oh man, these are great tips, and as always, this has been great, Qamar. So we normally keep these about half an hour or so we'll wrap this up. But before we do, Qamar, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about KISS PR, they want to learn more about your services that you're doing day in and day out, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
The best way to do KISS PR is obviously Google KISS PR, If you type Google KISS, or just type KISSPR, you'll be on the first page of Google. If you go to our website, it's called story.kisspr.com. That's another way to do it. They can Google for me, Qamar Zaman. It will also take you to all of my digital assets. Just type Adam Torres and Qamar Zaman. They will find all of us together. We have made it really easy for you to find us because we have nothing to hide, right? So we are accessible anywhere.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, Qamar, really appreciate you coming on the show today again, and I love co-hosting this show with you. We'll have on our next episode. We got to remember to close the loop on this GoFundMe initiative. And one more time, the GoFundMe. How do people find that?
So by the time you finish this episode, we'll put the description. Right now, it's kind of like a long URL, so they won't even remember it, but we will put that in the description.
So we'll put it
notes.
in the show notes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you again for coming on, Qamar, and to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We want you to be a return listener and a return visitor. And Qamar, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Adam.